some might ask, what exactly is Black Dandyism? Well, it's all about sharp creases, tailored suiting, and polished shoes. It's an exploration of Black identity and history, a reclamation, really, of dignity and expression. Here's a look at the evolution of dandyism. The Met Gala theme this year, superfine tailoring, Black style. Pharrell Williams, Coleman Domingo, and A$AP Rocky are among co-hosts of this year's gala. But the Black Dandy style is not limited to the famous.
We're walking this way. Yes.
In honor of the theme, photographer Jay Monroe brought a group of self-described dandies together for a photo shoot in Harlem.
Yeah. I think dandyism is taking control of how you want to be seen.
Dandyism is confidence, style.
It is elegance, audacious, and it is pride.
These photos will appear in Quintessential Gentleman magazine.
The Quintessential Gentleman is a media platform that focuses on telling the positive stories of Black men.
I'm so elated to be a part of this history-making moment.
And it's this moment, this celebration of style, with origins which stretch back over 2 centuries to the American Revolution and George Washington's enslaved valet, William Lee.
He took care of George Washington's wardrobe all throughout the Revolutionary War. So he had a vast knowledge of European dress and style.
He's really quite nattily attired with the red headdress.
Oh yeah. We see him in portraiture alongside George Washington with his turbans, with a vibrant note of color.
That was significant.
What William Lee was able to do was make an expression about his Black self, even despite his position as a slave.
And talk about self-expression. The most photographed man in America in the 19th century was abolitionist and writer Frederick Douglass. He grew up enslaved, and when he sat for a portrait, he always wore a suit and tie.
He chose to use his dress to kind of combat and subvert grotesque stereotypes about Black people at the time. He wanted to show that he was dignified, that he was intelligent. He actually wrote about clothing and how powerful it is to the Black image.
And in the 20s and 30s, in New York City, the Black image was celebrated in a great cultural resurgence, known as the Harlem Renaissance. It was a vibrant explosion of African-American art, literature, and music, centered in Harlem.
You can't talk about Harlem Renaissance without that zoot suit.
The zoot suit was a symbol of Black resourcefulness, making do with what was available.
It was a mismatched suit, it was 3 times too big, and you took it to the dude in your neighborhood who knew how to kind of tweak it. You wanted those nice flowy pants because when you got to the Cotton Club and you were swinging it,
so you could dance.
You wanted that movement, right?
My parents in their Sunday best. Over the years, my sisters and I often tailored to perfection. If you grew up in the Black church as I did, that was when people really had a chance to express themselves and I guess show who they were.
That's so true. You might have had a blue-collar job where, you wore a uniform, and Sunday was that one day where you were off work. The pew of the church is really the front row of the fashion runway for Black people, and I think that is so intrinsic to our culture.
And a man who's been innovating that fashion runway for more than 5 decades is celebrity designer and Harlem native Dapper Dan.
I think his work is really important because in the 70s on into the 80s, hip-hop was arising. And what it did was create a bunch of very young millionaires, LL Cool J, Run DMC. But these European luxury houses were not interested in associating with hip-hop or acknowledging the Black consumer. And Dapper Dan said, well, if you're not going to talk to the Black audience, maybe I can figure out a way to do it.
I didn't do knockoffs. I did knockups. We take things that already exist and fashion them into who we are. The magic is in what you wear.
Today, at age 80, he's still working, collaborating with Gucci, among others.
So it's come full circle where now these luxury houses do want to speak to the Black consumer, and Dapper Dan was already doing that decades ago.
But being a Black dandy is not just about being a man. Janelle Monáe.
I mean, the dandy herself, right? She was just really early to the game in challenging gender norms to make a statement about sexuality through your clothing.
And the Met costume exhibit pays homage to Andre Leon Talley, the iconic former Vogue editor who sadly passed away just a few years ago. He would have embraced this big time, right?
He is the dandy, right? He did so much work to mentor very many Black designers to amplify their work. So I think people are a little disappointed that he's not here to witness it, but one of his suits is in the collection, so we are excited to see that he's acknowledged.
And back in Harlem, Jay Monroe's photo shoot, an acknowledgement of dandyism and its power in the community.
We had to, what we call assimilate, but we assimilated in our own way, and understanding that our culture comes with its own history and its own expression.
There you go. That was nice.